Today marks 2 weeks since we picked up the 85 Porsche 928S sitting behind me. With a lot of parts on order, they're slowly trickling in. This is the only piece that has come in for the timing belt service. So more on that and everything I've done over the past week. Stay tuned. Thanks for tuning into the Grime Time with Rudy and the Guys with Rides channel. So here's my weekly update on risky business. So during last week's episode, you'll recall that I ordered about $3,200 worth of parts. They're slowly starting to trickle in. The critical path item is the timing belt kit from Porsche 928 Specialties. I thought I ordered that on the way back, literally on the ride back as Nick was trailering the car home. And unfortunately, that order never went through. I discovered that last week, called them directly, and the parts are on order. They basically coordinate the parts from about 4 different suppliers. So my update from yesterday was I should receive everything by this Thursday. The only thing I have received, ironically enough, is this $50 tension tool that is for the cam belt tensioning. Now, if you're familiar with these cars at all, I'd rather pay $50 for this tool than the $1,050 for a genuine Porsche tension tool kit. It sounds like the people at 928 Specialties are pretty convinced this tool works, and I'm willing to give it a try. So if all of those parts come in by the end of the weekend, I'll be spending a lot of time out here trying to get this timing belt service in so that I can start working on starting the car. The other part debacle was on Pelican parts. This car has a distributor cap on each bank of cylinders that's driven off the camshaft. As I mentioned in the first episode, I thought it would be good to replace the distributor caps. On these, the distributor caps were a heinous amount of money, and I was hoping to get the Porsche OE ones. Unfortunately, that decision put all of the other parts I had on order through Pelican on hold as well. I've decided to go with the Bosch distributor caps instead. They're a little bit less money. They look the same as the OEM German ones. And the main reason they told me is those parts are not available. The genuine Porsche parts are not available currently in the U.S., and it would be a 3 to 5 week lead time to get them from Germany. The only reason I hesitated with going with the Bosch parts is there was one comment on the Pelican website where someone bought the Bosch distributor cap for, I believe it was a 968. So that would mean they only used one side of it. And they claim that they had to file it in several places to make it fit. I'm hoping that was a case of them using the 928 piece on the 968, and I won't have that issue. So stay tuned on that. So with that squared away and the Bosch parts added to the order, Pelican is saying I should get all of the ignition pieces, all of the fan belts by this weekend. So the parts that did come in include the air filter, the oil filter, the fuel filter, and it's hard to see, but the very expensive distributor rotors, 2 of those as well. And that box, the blue box, is the $300 spark plug wiring kit. So it doesn't make much sense right now to put those parts in until I do the timing belt service. So one of the first things you realize when you have a classic car back in your garage after a week or so is determining what leaks, if any, if you have. So sure enough, this 928 is no exception. Looks like there's a couple things leaking underneath. I was a little concerned, or confused, I should say, because I saw what looked like automatic transmission fluid coming from the hood area, and then I realized it was on the floor. So then a little troubleshooting determined that the hood strut, which I'll get into in a minute, on the passenger side was actually leaking, and that was the fluid that I was seeing on the floor. That's the good news. There are a couple of other leaks, and then I discovered, unfortunately, that the boots on the steering rack are completely cracked. So I think an upcoming issue will be me buying I'm not going to buy a new rack or a rebuilt one. Steering racks generally are a bunch of O-rings and seals and the bellows kits. So I think it makes more sense once I get this running. Probably a good January or February activity will be for me to put the 928 on the 4-post lift next to me, pull the rack, and do a rebuild on it. So while I'm waiting for parts to trickle in, I did manage to get a couple of things done on the car. One job was replacing the rear hatch struts and the front hood struts. So as you can see right behind me, the rear hatch is nicely supported now by replacement struts, and the hood, if I were to open that, opens a little bit easier. And I have a complete separate video on that you'll see on the channel, so you can watch how I did that. My only disappointment was the new struts are the modern style clip, and they do say Porsche. They have the P, the triangle or P emblem on them, but if I was really going all out for preservation, I don't know how that would affect it. So on Saturday, I had about 90 minutes in the morning to fool around in the garage, and I thought that was a good time for me to play with the sunroof and get that working. So if you recall from the first episode where I went through a complete electrical check of all the systems, I found that the sunroof motor runs in both directions. So the switch and the motor apparently are good, but it would not move. That is usually a sign that from sitting so long and heat cycling, that the seals are probably just sticky on the steel sunroof. So this is a trick I picked up on my Cadillac Eldorado project, that if you spray it with a little WD-40 and tap it with a rubber mallet and then start working the switch slowly, that in fact did work after I let the sunroof soak with the WD-40 for about an hour. And just a few taps with a rubber mallet, and I was able to move it back and forth. Then what I used was, I like on my garage door tracks and sunroof tracks like that, Genie makes a sprayable lubricant that goes on like a tan color, and it's perfect for almost like a gel form when it sprays on. And that's perfect for tracks like this. And I sprayed the tracks on the inside of that, moved it back and forth a few times, and the sunroof is operational. So that's my update for week 2 of Risky Business. Hopefully by this time next week, I'll be able to take you through a significant amount of work on the timing belt. Who knows, with a little bit of luck, perhaps I'll even have the job done. So thanks for tuning in to this weekly update on the Porsche 928S. Press the like button if you enjoyed this video, and more importantly, please press the subscribe button so that you receive updates every time I update the channel with content. This week I started a Patreon channel for the 3 Porsches I have stuffed in my 2-car garage. That channel will feature content from the 2006 Cayenne S, the 98 Boxster, and of course the 928. Unlike other Patreon channels, I'm not holding back content based on how much you pay to subscribe. It's open to everyone. I've just put it out there as anybody that finds the content entertaining and would like to help contribute to the channel and Guys with Rides as we get it off the ground. I'd find that really appreciative. So that's it for this week. I appreciate you tuning in, and by all means, check out this channel and the Patreon channel for more content coming up. Thanks and have a great week. Stay safe.